This is wrestling's greatest moments.
Hey now, wrestling fans. It's time for another episode of Wrestling's Greatest Moments. Whether he was serving as Jim Cornette's bodyguard as Big Bubba Rogers or serving out justice as the Big Bossman, Ray Traylor entertained wrestling fans during his career in Jim Crockett Promotions, the WWF, and WCW. Sit back as Wrestling's Greatest Moments looks at Big, the life and times of Ray Big Bossman Traylor. Before we get started though, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single video. Ray Washington Traylor Jr. was born on May 2nd, 1963 in Marietta, Georgia. His entry into pro wrestling saw an incredible jump from jobberdom to the main event, and according to Jim Cornette, Traylor may have been the wrestler to make the quickest jump ever to the main event. Ray Traylor Jr. worked as the correctional officer in Cobb County, Georgia. However, he also worked as a professional wrestler in Jim Crockett Promotions under his name Ray Traylor. Trained by Ted Allen, who had also trained Arn Anderson, he was still very green when he began working for Crockett. Standing at 6 foot 6 inches, he looked formidable, but at this point, he was just enhancement talent. That changed after a match where Booker Dusty Rhodes put him into the ring against one of the area's top heels, Tully Blanchard. Wrestling legend has it that Dusty booked Traylor against the much smaller, 5 foot 10 inches to be exact, Blanchard as a rib. Whether or not this was the case, the big man impressed the American Dream with his raw skills, particularly when Traylor was able to take Blanchard's slingshot suplex with apparent ease. Dusty decided there was something bigger for Traylor than counting the lights. Enter Big Bubba Rogers. Even in an era before the internet, it was necessary for Dusty to take Traylor off TV and give fans time to forget him. The big man returned 12 weeks later on the May 31st, 1986 episode of Worldwide, but it's unlikely anyone recognized him as he was now wearing a suit and tie, fedora, and sunglasses. Who was this big man, and what was he doing in Jim Crockett Promotions? It didn't take long for fans to find out, as heel manager Jim Cornette introduced the Mountain of a Man as his new bodyguard, Big Bubba Rogers. Cornette, whose storyline background was that of a spoiled rich kid turned manager, revealed Rogers was a friend of the Cornette family who occasionally was called upon when they needed to get the job done. In this case, Mama Cornette had gifted Big Bubba to protect Cornette from the area's babyfaces, who were constantly taking shots at him. Babyfaces had best beware of Bubba because, as Cornette told Tony Schiavone, "You might not see Bubba, but Bubba can see you." Bubba added a new dimension to Cornette's role as the Midnight Express's manager. Cornette, whose tendency for interfering on behalf of his wrestlers was notorious, was one of wrestling's most reviled heels. Fans longed to see Cornette get his comeuppance, not only for interfering in matches, but for his endless trash talking. The man known as the Louisville Lip was the epitome of a heat magnet, and fans rejoiced when he got what was coming to him. Now, fans would have to see babyfaces find a way to get past Rogers before Cornette got his. It would be no easy task. Big Bubba was portrayed as a monster heel who seemingly felt no pain. Apparently, Ray Traylor took this to heart, as seen by two amusing yet painful incidents. Fans have seen wrestlers take some painful-looking bumps after being bonked on the head with gimmicked items. Bubba was involved in one such incident when Dusty Rhodes grabbed a wooden chair and went after Rogers. The American Dream broke the chair over Rogers' head, and Bubba did what he was supposed to do: no-sell the shot, and looked like a beast. The big man took off his coat and tie, preparing to pummel Dusty until Dusty's BFF Magnum TA ran in with shovels, driving Rogers off. A clip of the chair shot can be found on the June 28, 1986 episode of World Championship Wrestling. The chair shot was impressive, even more so because wrestling agent Klondike Bill apparently forgot to gimmick the chair to make it break easier over Big Bubba's noggin. Not a problem for Rogers, who calmly sold the chair shot without so much as flinching. Rogers' superhuman resistance to pain was seen on another occasion. This time Bubba, Jim Cornette, pulled up to the legendary arena of the Omni. Bubba exited a taxicab only for the cab driver to either slam the car door or the trunk on Bubba's hand. As told in the Pro Wrestling Stories article, Big Bossman Ray Traylor, Secret Life and Tragic Final Days, calmly, or at least as calmly as he could, Traylor said, "Hey brother, the door! Hey brother, the door!" The cab driver screamed, "Your hand!" and opened the door. Traylor put his hand in his pocket, grabbed his bag in his other hand, and marched into the Omni with Cornette behind him, asking if he was all right. Traylor didn't scream until the doors closed. Was Ray Traylor immune to feeling pain? As the story goes, "My God, why didn't you sell that?" Cornette recalls asking Traylor. "I couldn't, Jimmy," Traylor replied. "The fans were watching." Even early in his career, Traylor knew how important it was to protect kayfabe. As we'll see, Traylor was a quick learner. Ray Traylor proved a fast learner in the ring, and it proved helpful as he was quickly thrust into the main event. In a 2016 interview with PW Insider, Jim Cornette recalled, "He was one of the fastest learners, and if you go back and look through recent wrestling history over the past 50 years, I think he was probably the quickest main event star, even quicker than The Rock." The quickest main event star in professional wrestling at that level. Literally 3 months after he debuted on television, he was main eventing with Dusty Rhodes and in 6-mans with the Midnight Express against guys like the Road Warriors and the Rock and Roll Express. He set an attendance record in Pittsburgh in February of 1987. He hadn't even been a pro for a full year yet and set an attendance record in Pittsburgh at the Civic Center with Dusty that still stands. Traylor would put his skills to use, beginning a program against Dusty Rhodes in the summer of 1986. Jim Cornette, who was feuding with Dusty Rhodes' personal, aka Baby Doll, unleashed Rogers on Baby Doll, leading to Dusty riding in to save the day. This led to a series of steel cage matches between Bubba and Dusty, which Dusty naturally won, but the feud was only getting started. Bubba also worked house shows against the Warlord, usually emerging victorious. Interestingly, Bubba later teamed with the Warlord for occasional tag matches. Bubba also began working in 6-man tag matches alongside the Midnight Express, Bobby Eaton and Dennis Condrey, against the Rock and Roll Express, Robert Gibson and Ricky Morton, and Dusty Rhodes. Cornette's Trios team also battled against the Rock and Roll Express and different opponents such as Brad Armstrong, Jimmy Valiant, and Ron Garvin. Jim Crockett Promotions also showed Bubba's dominance by featuring him in occasional handicap matches where he manhandled enhancement talent. With 1986 winding down, Big Bubba was booked into a feud against Ronnie Garvin. Cornette unleashed the Midnight Express and Rogers on Ron Garvin, delivering a beatdown to Hands of Stone that fans knew would lead to a big match. With Crockett's annual Super Show Starrcade fast approaching, it didn't take a genius to figure out where this match would take place. On November 27, 1986, Big Bubba battled Mid-Atlantic champion Ron Garvin in a non-title street fight. Starrcade 86 was held in Greensboro and Atlanta, with Rogers battling Garvin at the Atlanta venue. The match saw Rogers get the win after both men were knocked down and the referee began a 10 count. Although Garvin got to his feet, the referee didn't see it, and Jim Cornette blasted Garvin with his loaded tennis racket, knocking Garvin back down as Bubba got to his feet and beat the 10 count. Despite his win that night at Starrcade, Big Bubba is probably better known for what happened during the Midnight Express's scaffold match against the Road Warriors. The scaffold match, the only way to win was by knocking your opponents off the scaffold, was dangerous enough for wrestlers, let alone managers. Jim Cornette, who had worked a handful of matches through the years and taken his fair share of bumps as a manager, was asked to take a bump from the top of the scaffold after the match ended. The Road Warriors manager Paul Ellering chased Cornette to the top of the scaffold, and Cornette would be thrown off. Fortunately, Big Bubba Rogers would be there to catch him. At least that was the plan. According to Road Warrior Animal, Big Bubba Rogers may have been a bit worse for the wear that night. In an interview with Hannibal TV, Animal revealed that Road Warrior Hawk and Big Bubba enjoyed the nightlife. Animal recounted the infamous night on the scaffold. "So I'm holding on to Cornette, and I give Cornette props. He's afraid of heights. Definitely afraid. He doesn't fly. He drives everywhere or takes a train. He holds on the scaffold, and I say, 'Jimmy, you got it?' He says, 'Yeah, I got it.' Post-match melee saw the Roadies chase Cornette, trying to knock him off the scaffold. Cornette managed to hold on to the lower portion of the scaffold, but his downfall was inevitable. Now it was time for the crucial moment, Big Bubba catching Cornette. As Animal remembers things, I told Bossman, I yelled down and go, 'Hey, you ready?' I'm thinking, how is Bossman going to catch Cornette? If he does catch him, Cornette is like a 250-pound sack of... He's going to kill him. Then I told Bossman, 'You ready?' I said, 'Okay.' And I said, 'Go.' Big Bossman's standing like this, and he's 3 feet off and misses Cornette. Cornette falls and hits. Both knees went pop like a big 2x4. You hear them both go. He blew out both knees in that one deal. He was screaming. Bubba failed to catch Cornette, resulting in the Louisville lip landing hard on the man apron. Consequently, Cornette broke a bone in one of his knees, as well as tearing all the ligaments and damaging the cartilage. Despite Cornette's disaster, Jim Crockett Promotions didn't abandon the scaffold match. Bubba's wrestling career was a classic example of a man that promoters saw dollar signs written all over, and they were eager to cash in. Rogers was a fast learner, and perhaps just as important, he was surrounded by some of wrestling's best workers. Jim Cornette once noted, he picked things up incredibly quick. He had the advantage of working with, the best in the business at the time. Big Bubba continued working matches against Ronnie Garvin and occasional six-man tags alongside the Midnight Express against the Road Warriors and Paul Ellering. However, he was also being positioned for another big bout against Dusty Rhodes. In December, Jim Crockett Promotions began booking its Bunkhouse Stampede series. The Bunkhouse Stampede was a series of come as you are, anything goes battle royals. The wrestler who won the most Bunkhouse Stampedes would win a bronze cowboy boot and a boot full of cash. Once again, Big Bubba Rogers found himself on a collision course with the American Dream. Both men won an equal amount of Bunkhouse Stampedes, resulting in promoter Jim Crockett Jr. ordering a steel cage match between the two to crown a winner. Although Rogers' manager Jim Cornette argued Bubba had won more money, the average bunkhouse match was for a kayfabe $25,000 prize, but Rogers had won a bunkhouse stampede with a $100,000 prize. Crockett dismissed his protest. On February 27, 1987, Big Bubba Rogers and Dusty Rhodes battled in a steel cage match at Pittsburgh Civic Arena. Dusty won the bout, capturing the bronze boot and the $100,000 cash prize. Big Bubba was one of Jim Crockett Promotions' rising stars, and things would only get bigger. Join us next time as we look at Big Bubba Rogers' last run in Jim Crockett Promotions, his work in Bill Watts' Universal Wrestling Federation, and Rogers' jump to the World Wrestling Federation as the Big Bossman. Do you remember Ray Traylor's incredible career? Share your thoughts in the comment section and let us know if there's any videos you'd like Wrestling's Greatest Moments to cover. In the meantime, subscribe to our channel, follow us on X and Instagram, and spread the good news about Wrestling's Greatest Moments, the channel that celebrates the squared circle.